So we'll be underway. We got 15 seconds to go before we have the first broadcast F124 qualifying session on this channel, and that honor belongs to SSRL. So thank you again so much for having me, and thank you so much for deciding me as your commentator for this race. Now, we are going to load in. So there have been 5 variations of Austria. The one we know and love today is about 4.318 kilometers long, which equals, in case you need this, 2.638 miles. And of course, the lap record, as I explained earlier, has a 105.619. That belongs to the McLaren of Carlos Sainz in 2020. So a lot to be said there. Qualifying has begun. We have one 18-minute session to decide who is on pole and where the rest of the field will look like. So, will we see Danger David, who was on top in practice when I looked at it? It had 12 cars in there, not 20. We have one of the Kick Saubers out. Is it Ander? No, it is not. It is Enzo coming out of the pit lane. So he will lead the field away for qualifying today. So at the moment, I just want to kind of look at one thing. There you go. We got there eventually. So everything is as it was, as I remember it, from F123 in terms of spectator cams. So let's get right into it. So Enzo is coming through turn number 3. Behind him at the moment is Scott in the Haas, and there is a couple of other drivers there. Danger David in the Ferrari now making his way, and that is followed by Trugster. So at the moment, where is Enzo? Let's bring up the track map and see where everything is. As you can see there, that little green dot on your bottom right-hand screen, as we are seeing Rush Nasiri come out, or Nasiri, I do apologise there, come out in the Mercedes there. So now one of the Mercedes drivers, and I must say, this game from this angle does look quite pretty, so I will say that I will give that as a compliment. But anyway, it is Enzo who's going to kick off proceedings. Are we allowed to show the Kick Saubers here on Twitch? I'm going to allow it, and the league will have to allow it. But anyway, let's go on board. And we are now on board with Enzo in the Kick Sauber, approaching turn number 1. Brake at nearly the 50-meter board. Meet that apex, meet that exit curb. And now it's all the way down into fake turn 2 and then turn number 3. So pedal to the metal for the time being here. Now approach at about the 100-meter board. I think he broke to about 80, 90 meters there. Not bad stuff at all. Very late on the brakes. So there you go. Got to manage your traction out the corner. Open your DRS. Coming down into turn number 4 now. Mercedes parks it up to allow him through. Brakes at about 90 yet again. So Enzo being brave on the brakes here. This might be a good lap at the moment, but with 15 minutes to go, that's yet to be seen. Now approaching turn number 6. Got to choose your exit and go out the perfect point. Might have lost the rear a little there. Wasn't the most perfect corner there. Was even wider of the apex there, but that usually doesn't matter if you have good traction out of that corner. This leads you up very nicely for a couple of fast right-handers. This one being the fastest, not the best there. A little bit of a slide in there. Very initial D of him, and then coming out there with a bit more of a slide. DRS open. What is the time? It's a 104.719. So that is the lap record. Instantly decimated. Scott comes in behind. Not too far off. 2 thousandths of a tenth there. My word, Scott, that wasn't far away at all. So there you go, the Kick and the Haas. Well, maybe Anno's prediction might be not too far away. Quincy is on a hot lap. Who is finishing off? We've got Herman the German. Danger David continuing his dominance from practice, but then Trugster comes in, a 1:04. So it looks like a 1:03 is the target time. What does the Visa Cash App car have? Only good for 6th at the moment. It's a 104.961. Quincy there in the other Aston Martin, now just in the middle of his hot lap, approaching turn number 4 there. Looking steady so far. There's been a lot of criticism towards this handling model that Codemasters have recently put in. But yeah, everything's looking stable so far. Not too much squirreling, unless you were on board with Enzo there. From the drivers at this side. Andre there with a great time there in the other Aston Martin there. 104.007. James Bond will be very happy with that indeed. But at the moment, we are going to go back to Quincy, see how he's doing. He's going to come across the line. He's just opened his DRS, coming up to turn number 1. And Quincy's only good for a 1:05.407. But then Toby behind. Toby Lenzin was only good for a 1:06. So, and Rowley as well. A 1:06.106. So the field beginning to form up. And our suspicions for pole position We're starting to see a couple of them come to fruition already. Danger David, not quite as close as I thought he would be. He was in front in practice, but now when it's come to the moment where he needs to perform, not quite happening for him, but he's not out of it. Just needs to find half a second somewhere. So maybe he can just do something in the setup if he has time in qualifying. See what he can find. We'll keep an eye on everything. But some people are now starting to come in, and some haven't started their hot laps yet. So we only have Traban, Andanan, Pleasant Snake, and the only ones not come out the pitch yet are Race Chase, Skid Solo, Dan, and Energetic 6. So I do believe Andanan was finishing a lap there. In fact, yes, he was. Let's see what he comes across the line with. A 124. So I think he had to slow down. Might have been impeded. So he's had to start yet another lap. Let's bring the telemetry or the lap data up on our screens there. There we go. Now we can keep an eye on what's happening in each sector. So let's follow him. Andanan coming across to turn number 3. Might have been fast in sector 1 there, but there was a glitch in the game. But that is the lap invalidated, sadly. Maston Artin says Anno there. So unfortunately, this lap is invalidated and he might be back into the pits. But now it's Traban even. Coming across the line, open to DRS. It's not going to be the quickest time. It's only good for 12th in the Red Bull there. And in terms of his teammate, well, his teammate hasn't come out yet. That's a lockup and a spin there. Turn number 1 there for Traban. So just going a bit aggressive there. Might have caused a flat spot or 2 on his tyre. But now we'll have to come back in. So that's not going to do any good for his tyre wear. Pleasant Snake is the only one on a hot lap, but it was invalidated earlier on, as the track map shows. Unfortunately for him, he has to come back into the pits and will try again. So now that most have set a hot lap, some are now coming out again. 12 minutes to go. Clearly because that Red Bull is only built for Max Verstappen. Indeed, unfortunately, it seems like no other driver is able to master that Red Bull. I've noticed that across all leagues, to be fair, as now Energetic 6 is now beginning to do his hot lap. Now, of course, we do have track evolution. This is, of course, something that started from F1 23. So as the track gets more rubbered in, thanks to drivers, just driving on it and like laying down some rubber, just cleaning the surface, the lap times will gradually come down. So I can't imagine a 1:04 being the final time. Now, of course, yellow flags have been brought out, and that was for Danger David. I do believe he was just getting out of the way. There's no dirt on those tyres to suggest that he went off or had a mistake anywhere. So it looks like he will continue on A-OK, but at the moment, Danger David only in 5th position on his outlap, so that wouldn't have affected him too badly regardless. Maybe just a little bit of wear on the tyre, but nothing too shabby at all. Danger David gets underway. Nasiri as well is on a hot lap as well, and Trugster is not too far in front of him. These two are looking like they're in contention for pole, but Nasiri with a tank slapper there out of the corner, not able to control the car, and that is the new handling model in effect. You can see it is so hard to control that rear end. I've been going around Marina Bay in 5th gear and drifting like it's initial D, and I'm in an AE86. How very realistic, I hear you say. But anyway, we are seeing the lap of Trugster apparently fastest in Sector 2. How is this going to come out in Sector 3? Remember, track evolution will be a thing. We see a bit of dust kicked up from a car going into the grass. Oh, my word. Look at the avoiding action. The car in front had to take that through. Trugster off, and that is the end of his lap, and he is waving the car in frustration there. Unfortunate for Trugster, but now we hand it back to Andy Andre there. So, unfortunately, impeded through no fault of his own, but unfortunately, that just distracted him coming into turn number 10 there, and it just threw him off outside of track limits. But also, this lap has been cancelled as well, so now people are struggling to get another lap in. We are now on board with the Haas teammate Scott, and that's already an impeded lap. The track limits here catching people out. And I missed this, I do apologise, but I do believe Jolly Boy John improved up into 5th, so that means Danger David has been knocked off. Oh wait, no, or was that Scott? No, it was Scott, I do apologise. I believe that was Scott there improving, so that's knocked people down a couple of positions, more namely Danger David and Jolly Boy John. So now, Danger David will be looking to improve, but he's going very slowly through Sector 2, just allowing cars through. Look at this confusion. The traffic here is unreal. Nobody can really navigate. Far too easy to do here at RBR. Indeed, Anno points out very correctly. Very easy to get track limits wrong, and everybody's struggling, so it's not exclusive to one driver. Everybody seems to be struggling, but here we are. Energetic 6 is only one of the 5 drivers not set a time. Look at how the back ends just gave up on him nearly. Had to save that, so that's going to cost him a 10th or 2. Just due to the momentum being lost there. Here we go. Final couple of corners now. That's turn number 10. Someone's had a bit of a mistake there. Some puff of smoke there. It's a 1:04.781. That is good for 9th position. So now 4 drivers. We are still waiting to set a time. The top 4 are in the pit lane, but 5th place Johnny Boy John isn't done just yet. He's opened the DRS. It's across the line for a 1:04.423. It's a personal best. It gets him up into 4th, but no higher than that. Rush Nasiri is now out on a outlap, so he'll be setting a lap come next time around. And there he goes, Son, out of nowhere in the Alpine, has gone into 4th position. The Alpine proving to be very quick round Red Bull Ring. So at the moment now, he is placed into 4th position. What can his teammate do? Race Chase hasn't set a time just yet. He's still in the pits. Pleasant Snake is also out on a flyer as well. We'll keep an eye on him, but a lot happening there. So at the moment, Quincy, who we were speaking to earlier, is currently in the pit lane. Kovashka in 13th is currently in the pit lane as well. The drivers that are currently out on the lap are Son, Johnny Boy John, Enzo, Energetic 6, Skid Solo with a 1:07.448 there in 17th, and Pleasant Snake, who we're riding with right now. And Skid Solo actually improves up into 16th position, but what can Pleasant Snake do? Here we go, final 2 corners now. Let's see what he's got. 1:02, 1:03, 1:04.673. That is good enough for 9th position and the top 10. But look at this. The top 10 are only separated by 7 tenths. If you want to go further than that, it's up to 11th, 9 tenths. So a lot up for grabs here as long as you're consistent in the race. Remember, 36 laps. There's no need to do any do or die moves. So should be some good racing on display as of right now. Disqualified is Energetic 6 for going the wrong way somewhere. Make the game louder. Make the game louder, you say? Okay, no problem at all. Thank you very much for the feedback, Saiju. Let me just do that real quick. About there. Will that do for you? Oh, the game sounds. Fair enough. Alright, but anyway, so there you go. That's a bit louder for you. Much better off-board sound. What about on-board sound? Here we go. We're going on board with Toby here. That's only good enough for a personal best, and that's now 17th for him. Still not loud enough. Okay, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Can you check your audio settings as well, Saiju? Because let's try that. Alright, that is as loud as I'm willing to go. Alright, can you let me know what off-board actually sounds alright? Okay, well, let me know how that is. But anyway, thanks for the feedback on the sound. It is Rush Nasiri is now up into 2nd place. Look at how far off he was from 1st. 5 thousandths of a second there. Not bad at all. Anyway, Truckster is also disqualified. Parked in a Trabran even. Trabran 1. Parked in a dangerous location. And is disqualified. So that means both Red Bulls are disqualified and will start 19th and 20th on the grid there. Parked in a Trablant? I don't think so somehow. But anyway, at the moment we are looking at Truckster. Currently in 3rd position, fighting for pole position. Wow, look at how far in he goes. He had the back end sliding there. That looked amazing to watch. But will it be fast enough? Apparently that was fastest in set to 2 there. Coming towards the end of the lap now. Truckster still sliding that back end out. Look at that new handling system in effect. It's amazing to watch. It's fastest lap. It's pole position for the Haas F1 team of Truckster. 4 minutes to go. It is a 1:03.944. That is going to be some time to beat. Andy Andre is going to have to find something. That last corner looks hideous, says Saiju. I'm not going to say anything about it. We're getting amazing entertainment right now. What can the Alpine do of Son here? Valho Son there is at the moment starting an outlap, and he's looked quick himself. He's not got a lot of time left. Now, approaching. Oh, that's a spin for him. So unfortunately, he won't be able to continue on. So bit of a tank slapper there, was able to save it. But the Ferrari there, I do believe that was either Skid Solo or Danger David. That was probably, yes, Danger David there, getting out of the way. But at the moment, Jolly Boy John also on a hot lap, but gets that corner wrong. I believe in Haas Supremacy, says Pavel there. As one of the Aston Martins has had to make way. It's Andy Andre now for pole position. Andy Andre, what can he do? Currently in second place, 6 thousandths off the pole position time. Got 007 in the name, so James Bond is happy, but he will have to unimpress the British spy because he still needs to find something for pole position, and at the moment he's gone fastest in sector 1, I believe. Had a bit of a moment coming into turn number 3, but got it all under control for the most part. And now coming into sector number 2 here, up to turn 4, looking stable so far, using all of the track and more, if you don't mind my saying so. And that was actually a bit of a squiggle there as he got on the throttle, but at the moment Andy Andre in control. I think he's actually backed out. Yeah, he's backed out. So evidently that mistake means he'll have to go again because he has slowed right down. So now, who do we go on board with? Look at this, 4 cars in one straight, all having to get out of the way of the RB of Jolly Boy John, as he's on a fast lap as it stands right now. Sector 1 was only good for a personal best there. We've got cautions in sectors 2 and 3 to allow cars to get by. It is absolutely full. Round Red Bull Ring right now. There's almost nowhere for other drivers to go when being allowed on a hot lap. And look at how many are on a hot lap with so little time to go. Are you surprised? Let's see who is about to complete their lap. We have the Alpine completing a lap. No further improvement for him. Jolly Boy John in the RB there, trying to complete his lap. We've got Skid Solo next to finish off a lap. What can he do? 1 minute 3, 1 minute 4, 1 minute 5, 1 minute 6. It won't be an improvement there. Dan has retired from the session. We now have one of the Kick Saubers about to finish the lap. That's one on the grass there, and that was Enzo. Only a personal best up into 6th. Now we've got Danger David here coming across the line. It's going to be a slow one, so I think he's going to go for another lap. Indeed he is. He's currently in 8th position. Yes, that was another warm-up lap, so he's going to get underway. One last lap for Danger David to make an impression on this grid, and then it's going to be all in only this lobby. EA made 1,600 euros. Incredible stuff, EA. But anyway, we're going to have to look around a lot, because now a lot of activity is out on the track. Andanan coming into the pits. Rolly also killing it a day. Quincy on a flying lap as well. And one of the Williams is of Toby here, finishing his lap, but that has been invalidated, so no further improvement for him. Race Chase hasn't set a time, so maybe he's going to try and do a last to first. I don't know how that's going to go for him. Truckster as well on an outlap will be able to complete this and then go for another fast lap. Yeah, I believe so. He's on for another flying lap at the moment. Rust Nasiri is also starting another. There is nothing to separate. Only a 10th separating the top 3. What about the rest of them? As Son has had a lap invalidated and is allowing drivers through there in the most extreme way possible. And there's Jolly Boy John as well. We have finished the session. Who is finishing a lap here? One of the Ferraris is finishing a lap. That's Danger David. No further improvement. He's confirmed in 8th. He's in the pit lane though, so no further improvements for him. The Haas of Scott comes into the pits as well. Who else is on a lap? It's one of the Mercedes. It's Rush Nasiri here, sliding his way. Oh no, and he's lost control! That might mean that's the end of the session for everybody, but no, it gets back underway, so everybody will be allowed to finish a lap. But at the moment, Toby has gone into the pit lane. He won't finish one. Quincy is in 11th. And Enzo here still on a lap. Look at how the tyres smoke. And that's Truckster confirmed for pole position, I think. No one's going to improve on that. Yep. Enzo is down on his time, so he's given up on this lap. Quincy isn't on a fast one either. He's just settling things down. So I think that is your grid. So it is Truckster in first position in the Haas. The Haas takes pole position in this final preseason race in F1 24 for the Silly Season Racing League. We have Andy Andre in the Aston Martin in 2nd, Rush Nasiri in 3rd, Son in 4th, John in 5th, Enzo in 6th, Scott in 7th, Danger David in 8th, Pleasant Snake in 9th, Herman the German in 10th, Quincy in 11th, Andra Nan in 12th, Rowley in 13th, 14th is Kaveshka, 15th is Dan in the Williams, and the Williams putting on a disappointing display, only 15th and 16th, Skid Solo in 17th, Race Chase sets no time from 18th, and then your 2 disqualifications is the Red Bull team for Energetic 6 and Tabran 1. So there you go, those are your 20 drivers. How long is the race, says Saiju? It is 36 laps, so it is a 50% race distance at the moment, and we're on board with Pleasant Snake just doing his in-lap, and there you go. So again, we confirm the grid that is coming up for today. Predictions time, everybody. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Truckster? Is it going to be Andy Andre? Is it Rush Nasiri? Or has one of them outside of the top 3 got your vote? Are there any biases we need to know in chat? Will the Haas take away the victory in this final preseason race? Please remember, there are no points awarded in this race. This is simply a test race to see how it would be come the actual race day on the game, which will be next week in Silverstone. I am going to turn the volume down a bit. It does seem a little loud. So I am turning it down just to 50%, and then that should be good enough. So as we wait for the grid to load up, there you go. We have a poll in chat, and the submission will close in half an hour. Will Trugster win from pole position? There you go. Get your predictions in right now, and then I will give out the awards when we are finished with the race today. So at the moment, we've had a very exhilarating qualifying session here at the Silly Caesar Racing League, and now we are hoping for just as good as a race. I can see the cars lined up to the right-hand side of the frame there, just beyond the metal grid. But we'll be underway in a couple of minutes' time. People just getting their final things set up. Strategy, fuel load. It's all coming down to these couple of minutes now before everything gets underway. Scott M for the win. I am basing my opinion on nothing. So Scott M in the Haas has Anno's vote. So we'll keep an eye on him for sure, for Anno's sake. But we'll be also looking at all other battles as well for the top 10, as well as outside. We'll be keeping an eye on just about everybody we can. And then she should be on for a great 36-lap race, which will be won with strategy. Supermax has left the session. Wonder who that is. I don't think that's anybody to do with the league, but then again, I could be wrong. But as far as I know, we will see. But while we are waiting for things to happen, let's go and have a look at our calendar very briefly. There you go. So you can see there, we've got a lot going on there. So 12 races in total. Oh, a steward. I see. Thank you, Lambo owner, for the fill-in. But there you go. 13 races across UK, Australia, all of Europe, USA, and then ending up in Saudi Arabia. But anyway, we will be underway any moment now, and we will be seeing an excellent 36-lap race across the Red Bull Ring. Reminder, Trugster is in pole position, followed by Andy Andre, and then, oh no, I think it was Rush Nasiri. Helps, I don't like it when they don't show it well. It is all ongoing. But yes, Trugster, still no points put in the predictions at the moment. Supermax, one of our stewards as well, in the race with us. So anyway, I guess just to kind of try and pass the time, what have people thought of F1 24 so far? Honest opinions only in chat. Obviously, they can be good, they can be bad. Any opinion you sort of have, any improvements you think they've made through the patches? I do believe that there was one thing that I found a little amusing, is that they moved the DRS boards in Melbourne and Spa. So that was that was an interesting patch there from Codemasters for sure, or EA, whichever one you like to say. Greatest update ever. Indeed. There have been a couple of improvements to the handling model as well. If there's any drivers here that have a quick few seconds just to talk about that, do they feel that it's improved the handling at all? I know that I've noticed, just from my brief experience with the game, I've been trying it out with a steering wheel and a controller, that the game feels a lot better on controller. So if you are on the steering wheel, it is a bit of a disadvantage, but yeah, as well, as people have pointed out, being on the wheel is actually faster as well, and getting the car to slide does seem to be faster as well. So I'm not quite sure if they've patched everything out, but basically that is the handling model they have gone with this year. And some of the opinions have been quite strong for and against for it. But anyway, that is very much talk of the past. We are now here in a race. We are waiting to get underway. Still waiting for everything just to come to fruition. I think we do have a 5-minute break in progress as of right now. Just so that everybody can get ready. And here we go. We are now in the countdown stages. It is a warm-up lap. So that means in formation, we can play the grid soundtrack. So here we go. In pole position, it is Trugster in the Haas. Bit of an uninspected one, but not unwelcome. In second place, in the Aston Martin, it is Andy Andre, 1992, followed by the Mercedes of Rush Nassiri in third. It is Son in fourth in the Alpine. And in the leading Sauber, it is Enzo looking to try and make up some positions, see if he can win. Scott, the Haas teammate there, in sixth position. Danger David in the leading Ferrari will definitely be looking to make up a couple of positions. Fastest in practice earlier today. Pleasant Stake in the leading McLaren in eighth. And then in the two RBs, they occupy ninth and 10th with Herman the German leading the way. And then 10th place is Jolly Boy John. And we've had disqualification, so I think some have skipped the formation lap. Quincy, the admin of all this, in 11th position, will be hoping for a points finish, even though no points are handed out. Will do his confidence a lot of good going in to the actual season next week. Andanan in the Kick Sauber in 12th. Rowley in the other Mercedes in 13th. 10 positions separate him and his teammate. Kovachka, 6 positions separate him and his teammate in 14th. And then the Williams occupy 15th and 16th with Dan and Toby. Skid Solo in the other Ferrari, separated also by 10 positions in 17th. And then Race Chase, who didn't set a time in quali, in 18th. And then, of course, your two disqualifications, Energetic 6 and Chabran 1, from your 20 drivers. Now, unfortunately, we haven't been given somewhat of a view there. Really hoped they hadn't kept this one, but anyway, we'll have to look at Trugster's on board. In fact, let's go to third position here for something a bit more preferable, I say, if you don't mind my saying so. So at the moment, anyway, we have now got the go from race control. DRS disabled for now. We have 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are racing in Austria. It's not a bad start from the top 3 as it stands right now. Top 3 are just going in as they were. Andrew Andre defending the inside. Nassiri trying to carry the outside, but nothing to it as of right now. We are waiting for all 20 drivers to come into frame, and Trugster has ran away with it. Skid Solo has lost a position at the back there, and at the moment it's all as it was for the time being, but there's been a bit of contact there at the background. People bashing into one another like it's a destruction derby. Quincy is also having a battle. Look at the midfield trying to sort themselves out. And Anand definitely has struggled there. He's currently side by side with the McLaren of Kovachka. And there you go, all sorting themselves out at the time being. Lots of locking up, as you can see, and that's a spin. That is for Dan in the Williams, dropping all the way down the field. Traban has lost part of his front ring there. So unfortunately for him, all the way at the back, and there you go. The Haas leading the way by a whole 7/10, but now it's side by side for third position. Here we go. Son now into third in the Alpine. Alpine dominance being shown today. Son found something in the setup, and he is going the fastest as it stands right now. Nice shot there. Trugster obviously sets the fastest lap. First across the line. And now, DRS is enabled thanks to a rule change between 2023 and 2024. So now, oh, there's a collision in the background. One of the RBs has gone off. That's Danger David involved as well. And that is the RB of Herman the German. Starting from 9th position down to 19th. Traban making an early pit stop due to his front wing. And unfortunately for Herman the German, a lot of the race to go, but a mountain to climb here. Now, as it stands right now, as Quincy and Toby are doing battle. Look at this. It's like watching NASCAR in Formula 1. Look at those going side by side. Quincy up into 13th, so he's down 2 positions. But Energetic 6 has made his way up the field. 7 positions. Of course, he will have benefited from incidents around him as well, but a lot of those are overtakes. But look at Danger David outside of the top 10 now and trying to make his way up the field yet again, back to some sort of semblance of the top 10. Started in 8th, remember, as Truckster now sets fastest lap, followed by Rush the Siri there. Let's have a look at the tyres as well for the drivers. A lot of them on medium tyres for the start of this race. Quincy on the hards. Now, before I saw the update, well, before the update happened, the most consistent tyres we see Energetic 6 go ride at turn 1, activates his DRS, was the hard tyre. That would last the longest in the field, and he has now been overtaken by Andanan there. So Quincy is going long, so he will, of course, suffer in this part of the race, as now we're seeing side by side between the McLaren and the Mercedes there. That is of Kvashka and Rowley. Rowley there down the inside for turn number 4, but the McLaren gets the cutback there. That battle has ended with Kvashka in front for 9th position, so he overtakes. As now we have our first 3-second penalty for track limits, and that goes to Jolly Boy John there in the RB car. Scott is the only one to actually go onto the softer compound of tyres. And now, 3 laps over, we have Truckster still in front, followed by Andy Andre, who sets the fastest lap of a 1:67.89. And Feho Son in 3rd, making great progress up the field, and now forming a DRS train. And that's Enzo making a slight mistake coming out of turn number 1 there. That leaves him vulnerable to Scott. Scott takes that position with absolute ease. Will have had the DRS as well, so no problems at all for Scott. That is now the Haas in 1st and 5th. Danger David making a move on the Red Bull, and now making a move on the McLaren as well. So a lot of battles are happening in these first 4 laps. Look at how he's struggling to get the traction there. The tyres were screaming at him. Quincy has got his 13th position back, but definitely struggling on those harder compounded tyres. We cut back to the battle for 9th. Kvashka trying to hold it round the outside. Look at the traction Kvashka has compared to David there. They are still side by side. This is going into turn number 6 now. And look at that. Danger David now from the inside to the outside. We'll have the outside again. Kvashka has given that up. Great battling from the Ferrari and the McLaren there. 3 laps in, they're fighting like it's the final lap of the race for the championship. It is great stuff. Andy Andre knocking out fastest lap after fastest lap, and he's actually gone and got the lead from Truckster, so I apologise for missing that. But a lot of good battling happening elsewhere, but Truckster demoted into 2nd place, sadly. Andy Andre there, now in front in the Aston Martin, and is now starting to pull a gap as well. So they go, and there's Son trying to look down the inside of the Haas there, but nothing to it as of right now. And so, well, Truckster has created a DRS train from 2nd all the way back to, I would say, 7th position. Yeah, Pleasant Snake is in all of this. Look at the lockups there. Herman the German gets is the 2nd driver to get a warning there for track limits. 3-second penalty for him. And now, there's all sorts of chaos wherever you look. It's hard to know where to look. Racing all over. So I'll give you this. Silly Season know how to put on a show. And it's been absolutely entertaining so far. So great stuff from all the drivers at the moment. Kvashka, though, has dropped the field ahead. It's 6 seconds to him as Rowley is the next driver to get a 3-second penalty. He's in 13th as it stands right now, and is in a battle with Race Chase, Quincy, himself, and Andanan there. Energetic 6. In fact, there's a big train. There's 2 separate trains there. If you look at the track map at the bottom right there, you can see that the Aston Martin has left the first train behind. And then there's a big gap. And then, of course, then we have actually the rest of the grid, bar Herman and Tabran there. So at the moment, a lot of time being lost due to not having the DRS. But look, 3 wide into turn number 10. Surely not. Oh, my word. And Danger David comes out on top there. And now needs to somehow try and look at getting this gap down to Jolly Boy John ahead. He's also lost DRS, so he's losing touch with the top 7 there. And of course, Andy Andre there. Now the gap is starting to come down, though. That was at 1.5 seconds at the beginning of the lap. Just briefly went down to 1.4. But evidently, it seems to be strongest when the corners come. But Scott is now making moves as well. And I think we've had an issue with one of the Alpines. We have. The Alpine has made a mistake and it's now dropped down to 8th, so that helps the pack behind try and find some DRS. So Trabant and Son has retired from the session. So that's the end of his race. He won't take any further part, so he must have had an issue with the car. Sadly for him, so won't take any further part in the race. But at the moment, there is a battle for 5th place. Cars are beginning to separate out because look, 3rd place is now separated by 2.3 seconds. So Scott is vulnerable to these cars behind him, but Enzo and Stake are in a battle as of right now. This is for 5th position only, and Pleasant Stake down the inside. Turn number 4 there. Not able to get it done though, and now we go through turn number 5. This is we're still side by side. Snake getting a bit of traction there on Enzo, but Enzo ultimately has the line and is able to cover him off for the time being. Now everybody from Son has moved up 1 position as of right now, but look at Andy Andre there making a headway by nearly 2 seconds to the Haas behind, and now we have a battle outside the top 10. Rowley has made a mistake. Look at the dirt on his car, so he's been in the grass and has lost out on positions, but look at this. And now we are seeing pit stops happen already. In fact, Scott is coming off those softs, so he's making an early pit stop. Let's see what he comes on to. Is he going to try for a 1-stop race? It would be 29 laps from here on out. Quincy's also in the pit lane as well. Does he get a penalty? No, so he just kind of slowed down in time. But as of right now, look at Rush Nasiri. He's been released. Truckster has been overtaken yet again, has dropped 2 positions there in the Haas. And now Jolly Boy is also making positions, and there's a spin there for Enzo in 6th position. Oh, it could have been better of a region, and there's more contact. And Danan has been taken out, and a safety car has been deployed. And Danan taken out by his own teammate, I think. No, I don't think so. Sorry. No, that's fake news. I don't think Andanan was taken out, but certainly somebody got taken out there. Unfortunately for him. So Andanan has had to retire, and I do believe there was an incident there with the kick Sauber, but unfortunately we won't see what that was. And now we have his first safety car deployed after 8 great laps of racing, so all of the pack will be concertinaed together now. And now we are seeing pit stops being made. Truckster has come out. Well, no, Truckster will come back into the lead. He hasn't pitted, so he's going to go long. Look at this. People going on to the hards as of right now. Yep, the whole of top 5. Enzo has retired from the session as well. We're seeing Energetic 6 come on the hards as well. Up into 6th position there. Danger David as well, dropping down the order. I think he's serving a penalty. Indeed he is. Let's see how the penalties look after all of this. So 3-second penalties awarded to Herman the German, Rowley, and Jolly Boy John for track limits. And of course, as from last year, you have to carry that to the end. But with all these DNFs, now T-Bran, I should say, T-Bran 1, or Bran 1, as I'll just probably call him for the time being, is currently in 18th, but this means he's been brought back into the equation to try and make up some positions. So now this will bring him up together, but Quincy will be maybe a little disappointed here because he started out on, I think it was him, on one of the drivers on the harder compound of tyres, has now had to switch to the mediums due to the safety car, and now finds himself down in 16th with a lot of work to do. And you have to feel that those who started on the mediums and onto the hards, you just feel like they don't have to make a pit stop, and Truckster might be left a bit vulnerable here, and even Pavel points that out. Anna Aaroncraft saying no pit stop for Truckster, indeed. So that is going to be one hell of an interesting decision there. Enzo has now fully left the session, so what was 20 now becomes 17. Both Kick Saubers have retired from the session. Unfortunately, Andanan was involved in an incident, and we definitely saw bits of carbon fiber go flying in all of that. So unfortunately, they have both had to retire. So no real result will come from Kick. Now, although there's no points, it really doesn't do your confidence any good, because you just like to get a result under your belt. It just makes you feel so good. It just gives you that big lift going into the actual racing season. But now, imagine being in Brand's position and then being so far down the field thanks to a collision, and now you have this opportunity to make up positions. He must be really excelling right now, so he'll be happy with how things are playing out. Big gamble, though, admittedly, from Truckster in first. But at the moment, let's go through the grid before we go underway again. Race Control haven't called safety car in just yet. Well, the game hasn't anyway. So it's Truckster back into first position due to not pitting. His laps, his tyres are the oldest out of the entire field there. Andy Andre there in second position did briefly lead Truckster from Truckster there earlier on. Test race car can indeed set the tone for the rest of the season. Source OTLEC Season 1. And then Rush the Siri in third position. Pleasant Snake in fourth, doing very well for himself. Let's see how the positions have been adjusted. In fact, the top three remain as they are. So Pleasant Snake up 4. Jolly Boy John, despite having a penalty, is up 5 positions. Scott is where he is in 6th. But Energetic 6, 12 positions. Danger David down 1. And we have Herman the German coming into the pit lane yet again. So we'll see what he's up to just briefly. So he was coming in from the mediums here. So let's just have a look. So he's going to file all the way back to the grid. And it's another set of mediums here. That is a very interesting decision there from Herman the German. They are used sets of mediums according to the data that the graphic is giving me as of right now. So anyway, back to it. So now, Danger David in 8th, Kavashka in 9th, Rowley in 10th, but with a 3-second penalty to serve, so that may not be his final position. Toby in 11th, up 5 and up 6, Race Chase in 12th, Skid Solo up 4 in 13th, and then down up 1 as well, but Quincy down 4, but thanks to Brand's pit stop, it is now 15th instead of 16th, and then Brand 1 and Herman the German round out your 17 drivers, but safety car has been called in this lap, so now we will see racing again. Now Truckster will have a very interesting proposition here. 10 lap old mediums, can he make those last? Come on Quincy, what the fuck is this, he says, and it is Prosberg in fact. Tico Prosberg 36, welcome in, by the way. Thank you very much for watching the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed this so far. There you go. Truckster's underway. Has caught the entire field napping there. Andy was not alert to that. Safety car is in the pit lane. And Truckster looked like he just had to lift off there to allow the safety car into the pits, or else that would have been a penalty. But here we go. It is Andy now chasing Truckster, and then Nasiri in 3rd. Pleasant Snake in 4th. So the top 4 remain together. There's been a bit of a gap in the middle of the field there. That is up to Danger David there and Energetic 6. So now Scott has also had a gap form as well. 1.4 seconds to John in front there, as now Andy was looking at an overtake there on his fresher hards, and look at that, he's got the traction. That's what fresher tires does for you. No DRS required at the moment. Can Truckster hold him off in second? No, he doesn't quite have the straight line speed. Will he try going outside into this corner? Very risky move there, but it's not enough, so he's lost out on the lead yet again. Will he fight back coming into turn number 6? No, he won't, so that's all lost now. And yet again, loses the lead. Good overtake from Andy there. And we have a Quincy Sport in chat, and Quincy is actually dropped to the back there. So has he had another mistake, as now Bran has made the overtake on turn number 6 there. So Quincy suffering yet again with his pace. Unfortunately for him, finds himself in 17th. Herman the German already. A safety car again. Safety car has been deployed. Has it? No, I don't think so. I think it's just frozen. Ignore that, chat. I don't know why that's happening. I think we've discovered a glitch, chat. So right now, the top 3 as it stands now is Andy Andre goes back into the lead, and now we have Rush the Siri. That Haas is down on straight line speed. The Siri to the inside, that's contact there. Bit of pushing and shoving there for second place. Truckster is still there. Needs to be given the room. He is, but Truckster has lost a lot of momentum there, as has Rush the Siri. Now the McLaren is making it 3 wide into turn number 4. Surely not. No contact is made. We all get away clean and free. But Truckster still hanging on for second for all he's worth. EA Memento with the safety car banner there. But right now, Truckster's still fighting for third. He is hanging on, but those fresher tyres will surely win out at this stage. Yes, it does. Pleasant Snake now up into second, but now is 2.1 seconds to the leader of Andy there up in front. So at the moment, let's see what else is happening up and down the grid. As Energetic 6, who was on a charge through the field, now with a 3-second penalty for track limits. And now we are seeing an overtake. Rush the Siri has dropped down from the podium, now down to 5th, and of course Jolly Boy John with a 3-second penalty, so of course we do have to take this with a pinch of salt thanks to that right now. But look at this, oh, there's contact between the RB and the Haas, and the McLaren is left vulnerable as he has no DRS, and there's a Mercedes to the inside, losing control, desperate to make up positions here. The Trickster fighting for his absolute life, as chat agree. There we go, Scott's now involved in all this. Look at this is crazy racing. But everybody's getting away clean somehow. And Rush the Series can't be enjoying that Mercedes as Scott now goes up into 5th position. Look at Truckster, the teammates can look at one another now. They can see each other. And look at this, John now trying to look down the inside of 6 and 7. But not able to find anything. He has the momentum, but so does Truckster teammate Scott. Scott just finds himself involved in all this, but Andy Andre has ran away. This is now a 3-second gap. No one is working together, and I don't think anyone wants to. It's just a pre-season race, guys. Let's take it so seriously. Danger David makes a move in the background as well. He has a 3-second penalty like his opponent, Energetic 6 there. But at the moment, this is the battle to be focusing on. It seems as of right now, Quincy has also made a couple of positions on Bran and Skid Solo there. But now we cut back and Skid, look at Scott there. Oh, and there's contact. There's teammates contact between the Haas teammates there. Truckster loses part of his front wing there. Oh my word. 1-1 of motorsport. Don't hit your teammate. Haas are in drama now. Oh my word. Rule number 1 of motorsport has been ignored, and Truckster surely needs to pit thanks to that damage, and we might not even... actually, Energetic 6 has gone off as well. Everything has kicked off. And look at that, Energetic 6 all the way down to the back as well. So this field as well improve on their positions. My word. Crazy stuff happening. It's just a pre-season race. I don't understand. How is everybody woken up this morning? And speeding in the pit lane as well for Truckster. So things go from bad to worse for the Haas there. There you go. He smashed the door, says Saidu. Gonna have to phone Gene Haas. Of course. But there you go. Now John is fighting for second place. Things have changed. At the top 3, Kavashka is the next driver to employ a 3-second warning there on his track limits driving. Oh, well, you want to see. But look at this. Danger David has worked his way up back into relevancy here. Of course, was on top in practice, but now is vulnerable to the Siri here. But unable to take advantage of Siri there for 4th position. And as of right now, look at this. All sorts of battling happening all over the place. Oh, my word. Scott there was now representing the Haas, but Truckster all the way down in 17th and will have a penalty to serve. And guess what? We already have 21 laps to go. Can you believe we've had 17 laps already? And now, of course, now 20 laps to go. Can you believe we've had 17 laps? This has been crazy racing. A lot happening all over the place. I imagine the hard tyres are now going to the end. It will be a mighty ask from the drivers, but you gotta say it's well played in terms of that safety car strategy, as now that banner has finally fallen off. But Pleasant Stake was looking to the inside there. Kavashka in battle with one of the Mercedes there. That's of Rowley. A1 there. So now Rowley and, well, Mercedes and McLaren now side by side. They share the same power unit, remember, but it is the Mercedes that wins that battle and is now got Rowley into 7th position. Look at the tyres and how they lock up there. That can't be doing any good for the tyre wear. Herman's German overtakes Race Chase, who set no time in quali at the moment, and it's not doing bad for himself. Up into the top 10. He can't be happy about his teammate, though, unfortunately, not being able to finish. So representing the Alpine brand here as it stands, and is in the top 10, not doing a bad job at all. But now Dan and Toby are currently in the Williams, have just kind of allowed things to happen around them, and now they're also in contention for a good finish, as Herman the German now beginning to make moves. And look at this, a battle for 7th has formed up here, and everybody just trying to sort themselves out. Look at how powerful the DRS is, and then when you don't have it, in fact, let's go up to the battle for 2nd position. And as soon as I say that, look at Pleasant Stake with the DRS. He's close. John gets it all wrong there going into turn number 3, so he'll have really bad momentum coming in as Danger David now overtakes the series yet again. So they're swapping positions left, right, and center. But Andy Andre there has been allowed to get away 5.4 seconds down the road now. Look at this. John not giving this up. This is giving us great racing. And Danger David in the series going at it in the background of this as well. Danger David wins out eventually. But my God, this is all kicking off to some excellent racing so far. Just keep it clean. And I do believe Scott, if he just keeps things as they are right now, gets a 4th place finish, he will want a podium after his teammate has unfortunately come under strife and is all the way down in last. He'll be hoping. Ah, no, and as soon as I say that, it's a 3-second penalty for Scott for track limits there. So the Haas team having a bad day in the office, but the series tried something and he gets a 3-second penalty. Lost the rear there, so that means we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers who don't have penalties, and now Scott and Nasiri are swapping positions. And this is now for the legitimate race position with 18 laps to go. Nobody is taking a breather here. It is all kicking off. Scott, though, doesn't quite have the straight line speed on the Mercedes, though. So, and then as soon as I say that, though, he tries to go down the inside at turn number 4. It looks like he's sticking with it for the time being, but has to, in the end, slot in behind and try again another day. Let's see what else is happening out on track. Chugster with the 3-second penalty. And it really, I don't think I really need to comment on his race. It has been absolutely awful since the safety car for Trugster there. He's just not been able to keep up and has just incurred so many penalties, speeding in the pit lane. And now, damage between him and his teammate there after Scott really did make the dive of the century there. But unfortunately, brought his teammate out of contention. And now everything is struggling. And now we've had another mistake, and that's Danger David getting it wrong there, and he continues on. So Danger David demoted down to 6th. Will he lose the DRS? He certainly will across this detection point. And look at him struggling at the rear of the car. So have the tyres seen their best? We do have 17 laps to go, but look at Pleasant Snake, the only one in this pack who hasn't got any penalties and will benefit at the end of the race as long as things stay as they are. But just had to kind of pull the brakes on there, locking up and not going into the back of the RB there. Anyway, let's have a look around at everybody else. We have Skid Solo defending for all these worth in 15th. Of course, has 2 very fast drivers in Energetic 6 and Trugster chasing him behind. And then Bran as well, losing touch with Quincy there. And Quincy in 13th, losing touch with the pack, but trying to fight his way back. It's now 1.2 seconds, so he might be within DRS of everybody else within 1 lap. So, not too bad at all. Toby as well, Herman the German, now incurs a second 3-second penalty. So that helps, well, Skid Solo then follows suit as well. So let's have a look at the penalties. 13-second penalties for Trugster as well, but 6 seconds for Herman the German. So he's got the second amount of penalty time to serve at the end of the race. But now we're seeing battles. Oh my word, 4 wide, coming out of turn number 3. What is this? NASCAR or Formula 1? I can't tell the difference anymore. Oh my word. Pleasant Snake as well involved in all of this. It looked like someone was sent wide there, but crazy racing for everybody as Kovachka overtakes some of the German and contact between them. Crazy stuff happening on this game, but Pleasant Snake still fighting. But there's Dan in the Williams on rolling. Danger David incurs another 3-second penalty, so he's the second driver to advance into the 6-second window for track limit penalties as of right now. And anyway, we've that's not good news for him. So now Dan, as we just saw, overtakes Rowley for 9th place, but due to the, as you can see, the pack behind him, that might not be that way for very long. Let's stay on board with this, and you can see how powerful the DRS is for the cars behind, even coming up into turn 1. Look at how close they get. And now we're just going to cut back to the battle for second here, because we're probably going to see some crazy stuff happen. Look at Pleasant Snake with a dive bomb there and overtaking John for 4th position there. But John fights back with the traction of the car. Of course, Pleasant Snake, like I remind you, is the only one without a penalty in all these battles. So he must just be trying to be careful, but also try and fight for all he's worth. And then Herman the German and Kovachka there also doing battles. So 2 battles to focus on as of right now. It's all kicking off here. There's even a battle for 9th position. Rowley has got that position back, but at the moment, due to all the fighting, they've lost touch with Kvashka in front there. And Herman the German, so basically battling has not done them any good. They're not able to use the DRS efficiently here. They just kind of need to, someone needs to try and work together. And now we have Herman the German coming in on mediums. So Herman the German making his second stop here. Let's see if we get across in time. Wow, what on earth? Losing the rear of the car there. And that will have cost him some crucial time. So now, I wonder if the medium tyres are past their best. We've seen the first runner come in there. And look at this, we're just seeing another 3-second penalty for Truckster. So he's the third driver to go into the 6-second window. But looks like Dan had a bit of a struggle. Look at that, a board taken out there. And now we have a caution in Sector 2. Something has happened here. And I think it's been cleared up. And Dan gets a fourth driver for another 3-second penalty. So I think actually... No, I think that's his first. I do apologise. Yes, it is. 3-second penalty for Dan for track limits there. Fight with his teammate Toby there for 10th position. But now already 14 laps to go in the Red Bull Ring. And at the moment, it looks like Andy Andre will be the driver to beat. He's now leading by over 10 seconds at the moment. And now, as we are seeing the lead, well, the second place pack come through the final corner, we will now cut to this battle. As of right now, the 3 cars behind have DRS open. Pleasant State just trying to stay cool. And now Danger David has come in. So even the hard tyres can't last to the end. So at the moment, hard and mediums don't look like the way to go for a one-stop. That is interesting stuff. Now the Siri is under pressure from the cars behind. Will anyone attempt to dive? It is going to be Scott. He meets the apex somehow. Does a bit of a lock-up on his front right. But at the moment, continues on so far. Now, Rush the Siri will be under pressure again, but Scott might be vulnerable as well. Due to momentum, he would have got out of the corner. No, nothing to it at the moment, so that remains as it was. But the Williams are now beginning to fight with one another, and Toby as well. So Toby just gives back the position to Dan for now. Are they trying to work together with the DRS? It would be beneficial if they did. But now Kvachka in a race of his own, but has Race Chase. Look at Race Chase there. Up about, I would say, 11 positions, I would say so myself. Yes, I am correct. So Race Chase having a really good race all of a sudden. Kind of came out of nowhere. Of course, didn't set a time in quali, so qualified 18th thanks to the Red Bulls being disqualified. And has made really good progress. But look at Energetic 6 and Quincy there going wide at turn number 9. And now we see a pit stop for one of the, I think that's the medium runners. That is Dan in the Williams there. Now coming in, and so we'll go to the end. But on what tyre? The others have taken medium tyres. What does he do? As Herbert the German sets the fastest lap. So now it seems to be the medium tyres, which are a virtual safety car deployed. Virtual SC deployed. That'll be why we'll be seeing activity in the pits, and I'm not sure what for. I'm not seeing anything immediate. I wonder if it's for Scott here. What has happened with Scott? Because he just came out of the grass there, so I wonder if he's had drama. At the moment, we can't see why, but this means Race Chase and Kvachka have improved a position. So Scott now outside the top 3 or top 5. Interesting, as Andy Andre now comes into the pits, but will this be timed well enough for the safety car to come out? Now, let's see. You'll lose about 10 seconds. Well, 18, well, is it about 12 seconds under virtual safety car? I would say so as well. But Andy Andre, remember, drive-through penalty again for Truckster speeding under VSC. Truckster is out of this race in any way, shape or form. The VSC comes to an end. And now a couple of drivers caught short in the pit lane. Scott is in the pit lane. So that means Anno's prediction of a Scott win has now been undone. Medium tyres for Scott now, and a replacement front wing. So yes, it was Scott that caused the VSC, thanks to a damaged front wing, and Danger David as well, not having the best of races, down in 15th. So now, Andy Andre there will now need to bring the gap down to Rush the Siri, only by about 3 seconds. But Herman the German and Bran are now going at each other. Bran on old medium tyres there. Is he going to try and go to the end on 18 lap mediums? I don't think that's possible. There's still another 11 laps to go. So it'll be 29 laps used on those mediums, and those tyres will surely be screaming at him by the time the race is over, especially with all the locking up we've been seeing. And that was somebody exploring the gravel trap there. Didn't quite see who that was, but it's given them a run. I believe that might have been Energetic 6 there. That's given them a run on Toby, but weren't able to do anything. Corners just came a bit too quickly for him there. And now Energetic will have it to go, but has a penalty to boot. So what does that leave him with a total with? That is 3 seconds. So he'll need to somehow create a 3-second gap, but gets it all wrong into turn 1, unfortunately. Line was all wrong, and that left Toby a little vulnerable as well. That concertinaed into him. Now Toby with the DRS, looking to make an overtake. Quincy in the background. Toby and Quincy haven't made stops, so they are trying to go to the end on this. Truckster, though, with a miserable time of it, does need to serve a drive-through within 3 laps. So unfortunately, this battle is a little nil and void for Truckster, but we'll stay with it anyway. Andy Andre is nearly in that 3-second window, so he'll be safe. Surely, with the pace that he's going. 10 laps to go, of course. And there you go, Andre as Herman there gets it all wrong and onto the gravel in turn number 4 there. Sorry about that. And then now they're going through 6 and 7. And continues on. Well, with things now starting to calm down a little bit and cars being separated, it has been one hell of a headliner for the Silly Season Racing League. Going into Season 3, of course, we will be in Silverstone next week. Same time as always as Truckster comes into the pit lane and has to serve his drive-through on this occasion, as he only has 3 laps to do so. Pleasant Snake, though, won't be happy with how this has played out on the soft tyres, though, so he's trying to make progress to come back into this, but has got a long way to go. Pleasant Snake was, of course, battling for the top 3 earlier on and was involved in some ferocious battling. Unfortunately for him, it's all come undone. Dan has made a mistake in the background as well. That was involving Danger David there, but at the moment, all settling down. But we have side-by-side action with the cars here. And right now, Rowley looking vulnerable. So this is a battle for 12th position. And unfortunately for Danger David, not able to improve. But does he have the traction coming out the corner? These people are on even tyres when it comes to tyre wear and tyre age. With 8 laps to go now, it's surely, as now John has incurred another 3-second penalty. But I was saying it's surely going to be like this to the end for these 3 drivers. But as you saw there, another 3-second penalty for John. That does a lot of good for the people around. But look at Kovachka as well. Out of nowhere, and Race Chase as well. In this, so a lot has happened as Toby now incurs a 3-second penalty for track limits. So old habits seem to have not changed from 23 to 24. We did comment on the track limits last time as Saiju redeems a hydrate, but I'm not going to be doing that just yet. But now this is the battle for 3rd position, and Kovachka holding off for all he's worth. I wonder if he's trying to help his teammate. We have a Haas off at Sector 1. And at the moment, it has been a miserable day. That is Scott, but Truckster will also be unhappy. Scott, of course, you've been talking for so long. I'll get some water. I'll wait till the end of the race. 8 laps to go as it stands right now, but fights have kind of been few and far between. We've just seen an overtake there between Rowley and Dan there. Dan there coming back around the outside at turn number 6 there. Gets that all done, but now we are seeing a change for the lead, and that is Andre getting past Rush the Series there. So now, if it's not been done via penalties, it has been done on track. But now, of course, the battle for... What is this? This is going to be for 3rd position. Well, it's going to be 4th, technically, because Race Chase has incurred no penalties. We have another yellow flag, and that is for Scott yet again. So he must have incurred further drama there, trying to keep things going. He resets onto the track. And you know what? Now Andre is in a genuine battle with Nasiri here for 1st place. As of right now, and of course, John as well. Actually, speaking of, some haven't made pit stops here. So some have thought it wasn't worth it. With 7 laps to go now, there's some stuff that is still yet to play out. But look at this, a battle for, this is 11th position still, between Danger David, Rowley, and Dan. I do believe they are on even keel in terms of penalties. No, it's Danger David, 6 seconds. Sector 1 has a caution again. Is that for Scott? I think it is. Yeah, because the leaders are now coming up to Scott. So that means that he'll be lapped. So the Haas gets lapped. That is unfortunate for him. Scott will not be happy with how things have turned out. How it's looking good for the top 5 at the very least. But unfortunately, it's all kind of come undone. Race Chase, though. Yet again, well, the battle for third between John, Gavashka, and Race Chase. So let's see how that plays out with penalties. Well, John would lose out on both positions. Gavashka would also lose out on third, but as I'm seeing overtakes happen left, right, and centre, it's so hard to keep up with this. I do believe there might be a team game going on as Scott, yet again, has had another moment. And it's in the middle of the track there. He needs to get moving as soon as possible. He does, and allows the traffic through to continue on with their battling. But Scott definitely struggling with something in that car. That's going to probably have to be looked at in the pits. He's probably going to have to come in. He's starting to become a danger on track there. 6 laps to go as Andre sets the fastest lap and has broken away from the Siri there. So at the moment, the Siri has secured second place in all of this. But look at Race Chase now in battle with Gavashka. Of course, Gavashka will lose out to Race Chase at the end of this race. But look at the momentum Race Chase got there just by simply meeting the apex. 10-second penalty for the Haas for speeding in the pit lane, and he actually just calls in a day. So miserable day at the office. No top 10s for Haas. I don't think it's going to be possible. Look at Trugster's penalty as Danger David incurs more penalty points there. So that is 9 seconds for Danger David there. But your top 3 as it stands right now is Race Chase, the Siri, and Andre from third to first as Gavashka and John now. But John's made a mistake. So that means he's dropped all the way back and now falls into the crutches of Energetic 6 there, and that actually comes down. But look at all the battling that's happening. It's so hard to keep up with. But Danger David has incurred 6-second more penalties than Dan and Rowley here. So Dan and Rowley are the only ones that are genuinely in this battle thanks to penalty time. Now, as we approach the end of this race, Bran is unfortunately running in last position. Not been the best day at the office. Quincy, despite having no penalties, in 15th, but will gain a position to Trugster. So 14th if things stay as they are. 4 laps to go. Andre here, no competition at all. He seems to be running away in this game. And look at that. Well, actually, that was... that was, unfortunately... Rush the Siri there. I was looking at the wrong car. I thought Andre there was looking at his teammate there and coming to lap him, but evidently not. As we say hello to ACF Nugget. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast so far. At the moment, we are coming to the end of this race. 4 laps to go. Things seem to have calmed down. The only battle happening right now is for 10th position, but that is only between, realistically, Rowley and Dan. And Rowley is beginning to lose touch to Dan here. So Dan is really only battling to have it done on track rather than at the end. We now have 3 laps to go. And really, it's just been absolutely no question. Look at Race Chase as well. Definitely contention for driver of the day here. Incurring no penalties at all. He has improved up 15 positions. Now, let's not take anything away from the other drivers as well. Energetic 6 up 13 and Gavashka up 10, but they've incurred penalties, so that is all in a bit of doubt. Although with Herman the German being behind in an Energetic 6 now, it's just really Pleasant Stake as well, who's going to probably take the honours from that battle at the very least. But Race Chase and Gavashka now go side by side into turn number 4 there, but nothing to it as it stands. Danger David and Dan now doing battle again for 10th position. Oh my word! Oh no! Contact between them on the straight! And that is going to be absolute frustration. Oh, I've removed the following sign as well, unfortunately. Just 5 minutes, Dave, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. But Danger David and Dan make contact with one another, and they just had to get to the end of the race. That was unnecessary, and Danger David retires in rage. Oh my word, the Ferrari is off as well. That's Danger David. Is that going to cause one last caution, one last safety car, one last VSC? Just put everything in doubt? I don't think so. The AI of the Ferrari has parked off in a safe position, so I don't think it's going to affect anything. Yep, and it's been cleared. So now 2 laps to go, and it's looking all said and done here. And now Race Chase will be getting 3rd position. It has been an absolute barnstormer of a race as we approach the final lap. Andre there coming over the hill. for the second to last time, going through the last couple of turns. Andy Andre there, as soon as he overtook Trugster, allowed the battles behind to develop and mess around, and he was able to get away. Bran leaves the session, so he won't be classified, so what was 20 will become 14, which means Quincy goes into last position there, and look at that, approaching the back of Trugster as well by about half a second there. But it is the Aston Martin of Andre we are focusing on. He has done an excellent job just getting away from the field, leaving nothing to chance, and just drove away whenever he's had the chance. So look at this, as now Andy is approaching the final couple of turns now. 10-lap-old mediums, has timed his pit stops to absolute perfection. Slight yellow flag in sector 2, but for nothing in particular. Quincy on the back of Trugster now, but we are just going to continue following Andy through this final lap. And now the Aston Martin, and in the final pre-season race, the honours go to Aston Martin. Andy Andre here comes through the final turn. He will get the biggest boost coming into Season 3. He wins in Austria with a great performance there from him. Ruster Siri comes home in second place and safe with a one-stop strategy. 28 laps on those hards. But between Kovashka and Race Chase, it's Race Chase in the Alpine for third position there, and I do believe that means he goes up a couple of more positions there. So yes, in fact, 15 positions for Race Chase there. Great race from him. Kovashka in fourth, Pleasant Snake in fifth, Energetic 6th and 6th, John in 7th in the end after his penalties. The RBs finished together. And then it's 9th for Toby, Rowley for 10th in the end, due to Dan and David having a moment. And then, of course, we'll see the rest of the grid as it goes. Aston P1 and P14 seems realistic enough. Oh, no. Don't do the admin dirty like that. Vamos Aston. Maston Artin actually won. Indeed. I'm not going to comment that in the interview, though. So I do believe we will be prepping for some interviews. But let's have a look at your finishing grid once it all loads in. Not a bad race at all. So like we said before, Andy Andre with the win, and look at the podium. The Aston Martin driver takes the top step with the Alpine, and Merck taking third and second in that order. And there you go, it has handed to Aston Martin first. They rise the trophy. Of course, it's just pre-season. Do join us again. Oh, let's go. A Romanian driver won. There you go. Saiju's nationality has been represented with a Romanian driver. So there you go. Saiju has a reason to watch this league now and support the Romanian driver. But everybody will be hoping to try and bring the challenge to Andre next week. Andre, ole, ole. God damn it. But anyway, I don't think we're going to get time to look at the classification, unfortunately. So, Andre, well, for what it's worth, Romanian supremacy. Okay, right. Let's see if we're going to be in for any interviews. So, just before we go any further, let's have a look at your Season 3 calendar. So, like I said, next week, it will be a trip to Silverstone in the United Kingdom. Then we go to Portugal in Portimao, Anno's favourite track. Then round 3 is in Montreal. Round 4 is in Spa, Belgium. Australia is round 5. And then round 6, it is to the Middle East for Bahrain. Then back to Europe for Zandvoort. And then round 8 is Italy, Azerbaijan, Singapore, USA, Miami out of all tracks. And then Saudi Arabia in Jeddah is your finale. So anyway, at the moment, I don't know if we're going to have any further things to say. I think that might be the end of the stream. I don't believe we're going to have any interviews today. We'll soon see, though. Let's see. Box. And yeah, no, we are going to have some... Yes, we've got interviews now. So we're going to have Andy Andre in just a moment. And here he is, actually, the Romanian driver joins us as well with Nasiri. So I'll first of all start with your winner. It is Andy Andre. How do you feel about that? It might be pre-season, but that's got to feel good.
Yes, it feels great. To be honest, I haven't had a lot of time on this game, and to get such a good result so early on, it feels terrific.
And the thing is, as well, you dominated that. Whenever you had the lead, when you got in front of Truckster, or when you got in front of Nasiri, you just ran away with it and you allowed the battles to happen behind you to make sure that, you could create a gap. So when that first safety car came around, were you nervous at any point?
Oh well, luckily I was able to get out of DRS pretty easily,
Hmm.
and then the others were kind of in a tight pack, always fighting behind, which cost them time and allowed me to build a gap. And
Hmm.
I was a bit lucky with that to be able to get away from the fight, but I don't know what to say. It's been good.
And I guess coming into the actual season now, next week, we're going to be in Silverstone. Is that a good track for you usually, or are you worried about that one?
Usually yes. I don't think I've tried it on this game yet, but historically it's been a good track for me in the past couple of years. So I'll think I'll do a good job there. I'll
All right.
have to put some effort for
Oh,
practice, but I think I'll manage to get a good one.
thank you very much. I move things on to Nasiri now. So Nasiri, you were involved in a hell of a lot of battles, but in the end, you come away with second place. How do you feel? You had the lead very briefly, but you just couldn't quite stop Andre.
Yeah, I thought after the first stint where we lost Andre already, after the safety car, I thought maybe I'll try stay behind him, and I thought Truckster was letting me by, but I in turn three I kind of slid into him by accident,
Hmm.
and when he rejoined, I don't know if he probably had a slide or something, but he damaged my underbody,
Oh, right. So you were
and
struggling with damage.
yeah, and then from that point on, I knew I couldn't go for Andy anymore anyway because
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I kind of if I had any chance, I don't know if I could have gone with the pace of him. I think I could have stayed in DRS and then
Hmm.
let's see what happens. But yeah, didn't get to it, and it was kind of my own fault. I was just how do you say it? Um, didn't have any finesse in it, so that happens then when you're too stupid.
Well, still though, you must be happy with a second place considering everything else that happened around you. You still built a
Yeah,
gap to the
yeah,
to the
yeah. I
pack
don't even
behind you.
know. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't know how just people around me. I think maybe they got drive-throughs after the virtual safety car. I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
suddenly there were lots of people just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I don't know what happened behind me, and I was suddenly lonely, and I saw that Andy had stopped for fresh mediums, and then he toyed around with me a bit, I think. So yeah, but it was fun. It's a good start for the season, and I'm looking forward to Silverstone, and maybe I can take the battle to Andy there. Let's
All
see.
right. Well, thank you very much. I've just seen Quincy come in the VC. I imagine he has a couple of words. Thank you to all the drivers. I just want to say one last word to Andre. You've actually got a Romanian fan in the chat there, so you've got somebody who is supporting you along the way there, just if that helps you any. But anyway, I pass this over to Quincy. I assume you have a couple of words.
Nah, no words from me. Just wanted to hear the end of the interviews, that's all.
Okay. All right then. But
Thanks
like,
for the comms, man. Can't wait to watch back.
no problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure. But I guess I did actually want to have you for a couple of questions, Quincy. Of course, you've been done very well to organise 20 drivers into a league. That's no mean feat there. So congratulations to you.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything you want to say to the drivers as well? Like, just while we're all here.
Keep it safe. No dangerous moves. Let's have fun. That's all.
Hmm.
Let's go.
And are you also looking forward to the season ahead, Quincy? Where do you think your strongest track is going to be?
Uh, let me look at the track list. Where is the track list? Where is the track list? I should know this. I'm the one that made it. I'm looking forward to places like Jeddah, Canada. So later on later on in the season, maybe. The
Mhm.
first few tracks aren't really my greatest, but I think the
Hmm.
last 4, which we'll title as the Walls because of all the street tracks, I think those are my strongest tracks.
All right. Well,
So
look.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Well, look, we're looking forward to seeing all of you on the season. We hope to see more of you. Maybe in the podium, or maybe just having great battles. But otherwise, that's all from me. Unless we're going to have Race Chase, who I don't know if it's going to show up. But
No, I don't think he's going to show.
all right then. Well, look, that's all I really have to say. Thank you all so much for putting on a fantastic race. It looks like a great impression going into the race 1 next week. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dave. See you next week.
See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, look, that is all from me in terms of the Silly Season Racing League. It has been an absolute pleasure to have been your host and broadcaster and commentator for today's race. We will be back next week where the gloves will really be off, where everything has to come down to something. And remember, it's points. So, see you next week. It's Silverstone. Don't miss it. Bye for now.